the spooky Halloween. Ooh. Ghosts, ghouls, dry bones, spooky.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, you have a hat head.
Oh, stop it.
You have like a little crease on your forehead from your son's hat.
Why do you got to do that right away on the podcast?
I turned from hitting the record button and looked at you, and your forehead is quite red.
Okay. All right.
Are you okay? Are you injured?
No, I'm okay. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Emily.
How are you doing?
I am good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm here to welcome everyone to Confidently Controversial.
The podcast.
Yes, that's what this is. So welcome everybody to another wonderful episode of this podcast that we do.
So what's been going on with you?
Oh, so last night I was hanging out with a friend.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't you. I'm sorry.
I'll spare you.
No, I was hanging out at my friend's house, and we were outside, and they had a little fire, and yeah, it was fall. It was really nice, and we looked up in the sky and saw this crazy thing that was like a stream of lights, like going straight through the sky.
Those are called airplanes. They fly.
No.
Okay.
It was like, it looked to me like almost like a banner plane if it had little points of light all along it going through the sky. UFO shit.
Oh,
I'm saying.
Okay. That's what you think.
Here's the funny part about the whole thing is that I didn't freak out because your sister had recently posted a TikTok where she had seen the same thing. So I immediately texted your sister and I was like, I see it too. It's in the skies. And but what it is, we figured it out, is it's Starlink, that Elon Musk
thing. Yeah.
So
it's
yeah.
Like a satellite?
It's like a satellite, but it looks almost as if it's a streamer in the sky of lights, like a string of Christmas lights going through the sky.
Oh,
yeah.
Fancy.
It is.
Sparkly like a holiday.
Sparkly like a holiday. It's probably freaked out many a stoner.
Yeah. Well, my sister, I remember, she sent me this thing when she was like in her pool, like a month or so ago, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, it's recording her looking at the sky, like losing her mind. And
it's on TikTok.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't see anything. And my mom's like, I don't see anything either. We're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You've lost your mind. You've done lost your mind, woman.
Yeah, we all saw it. We confirmed the reality of it. Okay. And there were 4 adults, just middle-aged
freaking
adults,
out.
just like, what is it? What is it? My husband was even just like, oh my God. And then my friend's husband was talking about, how the military has all kinds of stuff we don't even know about.
Did you see that in Mexico? This week, I think it was recently anyway, they were like, we have aliens and we're going to show them to you. And they like showed these little alien bodies.
Is that the one that were like the little shrivel up looking things?
The little ones that were like, if I was like, draw an alien, you'd be like, oh, here you go.
Where did they get those little aliens?
And they're like in little boxes.
Where'd they come from?
They said that they found them. They were like, we'll be brave. We'll show you what we found.
Okay. I mean, maybe. What do you think? You're skeptical.
I am skeptical.
I think that my stance on aliens is...
They're just like us.
No. My stance on aliens is that they're real.
Okay.
There has to be aliens.
All right.
The universe is vast. I don't know if they've made it here, though. And if they have, I just feel like we're probably so primitive to them.
Don't say that.
That they don't care about us. Don't say that? Why does that bother you?
I don't know. I just, I don't want to be ruled by an alien class.
You have so much to worry about already.
I do. It seems like they would be harder on me than my life is as now.
There would be weird things. I don't know. I don't like aliens.
So my husband watches the show that's called, oh shit, I just had it in my...
Like on the History Channel?
Yeah.
Those kind of alien shows? Alien Encounters?
Yeah. Ancient Aliens. This is the one where they basically claim that everything, like the pyramids were built by aliens and like all this stuff. And,
but my husband likes that one too, I think.
Yeah. But it's problematic because it basically is just like, well, nobody was smart enough to do this, so it had to be aliens.
Maybe. I don't know. They say a lot. They say that there's. Didn't you recently say I was an alien because I have a negative blood type?
No.
Somebody said that. Somebody said that they think it's been posited that people who have
wasn't
negative.
There like a there was an article or something. I might have sent you an article about it.
You did. You accused me, your best friend, of being an alien. How dare you?
It would make sense.
Would it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I would be best friends with an alien.
And you know what? It would make sense to me too because I really don't feel as though I fit in.
Right.
So that it would make all too
That's
much
what I
sense.
mean. Like I feel like an alien would be like, "Hey, that person seems normal."
Yeah.
And choose me.
I'd be like, this is okay. Okay, this is why. This is why I don't get it half of the time, and none of you people make sense to me.
Right.
100% makes sense.
All right.
Very much so.
Well, this episode has taken an interesting turn so far.
So far, so good.
Far.
I mean, some aliens. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
Well, it kind of fits in because...
are we going to watch now? Shit.
No, we're not watching an alien movie.
Not prepared.
No. When I first... So, my husband and I have been together for a very long time. When we first started dating, my only rule was no alien movies.
Really?
And he breaks it all the time.
Why was that your rule?
I don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
I just don't want to watch it.
Because you like horror movies.
I'll watch a horror movie.
But you won't watch an alien movie.
I don't want to watch an alien movie because it gets me too, like, I don't want to think about it. Like, I don't believe that Michael Myers is coming. I don't believe that Freddy Krueger is coming. Alien? Perhaps.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. It's within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Okay.
So,
I agree. And I don't like... Yeah, it's a little too scary.
And they're nervous, we're nervous. That's how they end up in your stomach and bleh.
Yeah, and then you're throwing up weird stuff.
Yeah,
oh my god, yeah. There's too many scary alien movies. They've definitely. Oh, we're touching on something here. But go ahead. Okay. So you had a rule: no alien movies.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're in the month of October now.
We are!
So, we are going to, I guess, watch some spooky Halloween movies. Spooky.
It's very spooky.
Percy used to say.
Yes.
So, it was my choice first. So
I'm glad that you get this honor of going first. I feel like it's appropriate because Kim's husband is just a connoisseur of horror movies.
And when he found out that we were doing all Halloween movies, he was like, I get to pick, I get to choose. And I was like, no, you don't get to choose.
No.
So I chose because I say who, when, where, how much. Right. So I chose it based off of a movie that I remember watching, specifically wanting to watch at one of my birthday parties.
Okay. What age?
So I was thinking about this, and I'm trying to figure out, this movie came out in 1989.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess it was right around there, maybe like the next year or something like that, because I feel like I was in maybe middle school.
Okay.
And I remember it because I was friends with a girl that was younger than me.
Okay.
Like in a grade younger than me, and I wanted to invite her to my party as well, and I invited her. And we watched this horror movie. And when I looked it up, I realized it was rated R.
Was this a sleepover party?
I don't think it was.
Okay.
I don't think it was a sleepover party. But I remember being in my parents' downstairs, like, den area where we had the TV and stuff like that. I remember where the couch was, and I remember everybody watching it. And it was like, people were, like, crying and upset.
Oh, my gosh.
Especially this younger girl.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I was like, and then the movie was rated R, and it made me wonder, like, did my parents have to ask permission? Probably not.
They didn't. Back then, they didn't do that kind of thing at all. No. I feel like nowadays, you definitely should ask.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can watch a certain movie at your house.
Yeah.
Very much so. It's funny that you're saying this because a similar incident happened last night because, as I said before, all the adults were outside around a fire, maybe imbibing some beverages, looking at aliens in the sky, while all the children were inside watching horror movie trailers. And at some point during the night, all of the kids came running outside because my daughter instigated watching maybe some movie trailers that were a little too scary.
Too far.
Just trailers to movies.
Got it. Well, we watched this whole movie.
Okay.
So, like I said, it came out in 1989. It's a famous movie. I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
Oh, gosh.
It is based off of a book. It was based off of a book that was written in 1983.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
It is based on actual events that happened in the author's life.
Okay.
Based off something that happened to his child.
No. Okay.
So, it came out April 21st, 1989. Like I said, rated R. The budget was $11.5 million.
So it's big.
Yes. And it grossed $57.5 million worldwide. There was a sequel to this movie as well. And also, I just actually found out that they're making a brand new one of these movies due to come out any day now.
What?
Yes. which I saw the commercial for after I did my research. So,
us, we are on the tip of everyone's
And if that
tongue.
movie would like to sponsor this podcast, we think you should.
Just give us a call. Give us a call, guys.
Okay. So, where to begin? This movie...
So it's based on a book.
Based off a book, 1983.
Who's in this movie?
This movie stars Dale Midkiff, who...
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, he's nobody. He was in a movie called Elvis and Me, and he played Elvis.
Okay.
That was his claim to fame. Denise Crosby, also nobody. Brad Greenquist, Miko Hughes, Blaise Berdal, and the one person that you might know it from, Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn. Oh, that's Herman Munster. You're going to make me watch this movie. Oh, no.
So this movie is based off the 1983 Stephen King book, Pet Sematary.
Okay, hold on a second. I have to preface this by saying, first, I have not seen this movie.
Oh, you haven't?
I've seen bits of this movie, and the bits that I've seen have been very scary to me, even though it's dated, but it's very scary to me. The funny thing about this movie is that my husband quotes this movie all the time, and he does the Fred Gwynn character. Ground's gone sour.
Sometimes dead is better.
So I'm scared to watch it.
Okay. So, this movie, was directed by someone called Mary Lambert. This was only her second film. Before that, she had made music videos for Material Girl and Like a Prayer.
I love both of those videos.
Yeah, so she's a good director.
But I have to go back to something you said before, that this movie, or the book, is based on real life events from Stephen King.
Stephen King's daughter apparently had a cat that died that was called Smucky the cat. Smucky. And, so that they were obviously real sad, and they wished there was something they could do.
Sure.
To, do this. Okay.
And that's the real thing. So the Smucky didn't come back to life.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So this movie was filmed in Maine, as most Stephen King movies are, and Stephen King was on the set for the whole thing. He likes to be part of his sets. He's usually stars in the movie somehow or makes a cameo in a lot of his movies.
And he also, correct me if I'm wrong, and you may already be bringing this up, but the Ramones did a song for this.
So the theme song is by the Ramones. It was referenced in the original book. And Stephen King is a fan of the Ramones, so they made the theme song, and it got very popular. It's one of their most popular songs.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. Mm-hmm. It's a banger.
It is a banger. 9 different cats were used during filming, and they say no cats were injured in the making of the movie.
Good to
that's
know.
Good.
Good to know.
Originally, George A. Romero, who is Night of the Living Dead, was set to direct it. And Bruce Campbell, who is another popular horror star.
Oh, yeah.
Bubba Hotep.
I love Bruce. No, he's Evil Dead.
Yeah, he's Evil Dead, but he's also Bubba Hotep.
He was supposed to be in it, but wasn't.
He was supposed to be in it, but he wasn't. And they said you'll find, a lot of people talked about this as a fun fact, that you'll find Easter eggs for other Stephen King movies in some of his movies, and they reference Cujo, which is the scary dog.
I know who Cujo is.
Yeah, they reference Cujo in this movie.
Okay. I can't believe this was your big birthday party movie.
Yeah, it was. It was. So it was a big deal that I really wanted to watch it.
You ruined so many kids' lives.
My birthday's in December. It's not my sister's birthday's on Halloween. She didn't watch this movie at her birthday party, which would make sense.
So, okay, let's go back to this moment. You're having a birthday party. About how many little girls are at your birthday party?
I mean, probably 8 to 10, I would guess.
8 to 10, and everyone's crying and freaking out.
Yeah, people were freaking out. And I remember, because I vividly remember we had this very, orange floral couch that was like that fabric that would like leave marks on your skin because it was like so rough, but that thing lasted for fucking ever. Yeah. And like even when my parents put it out in the trash, like someone else took it. It's probably still alive and well in someone else's house. But we had this couch, and I remember one of the girls like covering her like fully like sinking down into the couch and covering her face with one of the end pillows. And I fully remember it. I was probably just sitting there like, oh no, what did I do? Like,
are you still friends with, or like Facebook friends or anything with any of the people who were at this birthday party?
Well, the girl, see, I don't really remember who else was there, but I remember this younger girl that was there. And I am Facebook friends with her. Okay. But I'll have to...
see if she's okay. Check in on her.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine. She seems fine.
I don't know. Well, we're fine from all the movies we watched when we were younger.
I remember there's like a couple pretty scary parts in this movie. The sister is really scary. You'll see coming up. But I also wanted to find out, because I know that we like a little history lesson.
We love it.
And so I wanted to learn some more about pet cemeteries.
Okay.
So I did some research because, I usually try to go down the rabbit holes that I think other people would go down based off of our selections.
Okay.
So pet cemeteries are very common.
There's one on Route 47.
Yeah. So ancient Egyptians obviously buried cats, and they considered them deities. So
diggity. No diggity.
And dogs were buried with humans like 8,000 years ago in Siberia. So this is a very, very, very popular
to bury
practice.
A dead animal.
To bury a dead animal.
I mean, good thing. Yeah. I mean, don't leave it on the ground. Put it under the ground.
And but there's not like the same rules and regulations with pet cemeteries as there are with regular cemeteries. Whereas like if you wanted to move or build over a regular cemetery, you can't just do that. You can't just
watch Poltergeist and see what happens.
You can easily build a home on top of a pet cemetery.
Easily.
Yeah. Like it's apparently not a big deal.
Except for the people who are building the house and have to like dig the basement or just like,
or they're just constantly like, what the fuck was that? What was that? And it's just like, cats, ghost cats.
I was just thinking there would be a lot of skeletons and bones, but ghost cats too.
No, I would be worried more about the ghost cats, Emily.
Okay. Okay, continue.
They're sneaky when they're alive. Imagine what they're like when they're dead.
It's just truth.
So America's largest and oldest pet cemetery is in Hartsdale, New York. It was built in 1896, and there's over 70,000 animals in there. That's a lot of bones. That's a lot of bones.
That's a lot of bones.
And ghost cats.
Don't walk through there. And birds. Like, you think a bird lands on your shoulder, you're like,
what is that? What was that?
I just thought a bird landed on my shoulder.
Yes. So,
that's interesting to me. I also know that you can't, because supposedly you can't just bury an animal. You're not supposed to be able to just take it home. However, I mean, every single time I've had a dead animal in my life, which isn't a lot, but we've had several dogs, and the vet just we just take it home. They put it in a cardboard box and take it home, and then we bury it in the yard. Mm-hmm. But I thought that there was some reason why you can't. Now,
because you put it in a pet cemetery, you could come back to life and kill people. Probably.
I mean, I don't think that Mr. Mosley would do that. Or Duncan.
I don't know.
Duncan would not.
No.
My doggies were nice. Yeah, but that pet cemetery that's by us, that's new.
With the big monument?
With the big monument out front, like the barn towards the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess like you could bury your animal there, but just say like that pet cemetery fell on hard times. They could sell it, and then it could be like a development or something like that.
Yeah, which is weird. It's just strange to me that you would spend money on something like that. I understand, I guess, and especially where we live is rural. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got a certain amount of land that they're living on for the most part. And if you don't, you can have your animal cremated if you really wanted to keep that, cherished memory.
Sure.
So, which I feel like is probably less money, or at least comparable to buying a monument and a burial space.
So what do you...
So I just don't understand why you would spend money to have your animal buried in a special plot of land instead of just burying it in your yard.
Right. Like, do you go visit it?
That's what I mean. Like, you got to go out of your way. I mean,
you got to go out of your way.
You got to go out of your way. Like,
it's like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. I mean, for our animals, they're buried in our yard. We've planted a tree over top of them. So I feel like it's nice.
The authorities are going to come for you.
They are.
You're going to start excavating your yard.
Are you? You have all these dogs. I'm like, listen, chill out. There's literally like four dogs.
Yeah.
Between my yard and my in-laws' yard. It's fine.
That's a lot of dead dogs.
That's a lot. Maybe it's more than the average Joe. But yeah.
Well, so we buried our dogs in our backyard as well, and my sister lives in the house I grew up in. Well, one of the houses that we grew up in, my sister lives in now, and she buried her cat in the yard. But when we moved in to the house, we had a tree in our side yard that had little gravestones next to it that were actually children's graves.
That's a whole different thing, Kim. When you told me that for the first time, you were very chill about it.
Yeah, because it was something we always had. We just found out when we moved into the house that these little kids were buried in the yard because they died of pneumonia or the flu or something like.
And it didn't worry you. That isn't something that would have plagued my brain as a child to think. Children die, because I feel like that's a concept that when you're a kid and you learn about that, it's just, you just don't think about children dying. Right. So it's like, children have died, children's bodies are buried in my yard.
Right.
Those children could be ghosts, and I'm going to have to deal with it.
Well, I know when my sister moved into the house, because she has small children, she was basically like, if you ever see any kids you don't know in the yard, they might be ghosts. Her kids.
That's really funny. I have to tell you, I have a lot of anxiety about
watching this.
About watching this movie.
Okay.
Scary movies and me... Scary movies ruined my childhood in a lot of ways. And not even full movies, just... commercials for movies,
right.
Knowing they existed,
hurt me,
because they just it just scared me.
We said we were going
to
do this.
I know we're going to do this.
Do you want a little cocktail or something?
No, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be okay. I just might be a little bit freaked out. You're good. Okay.
All right, you ready to watch it then?
I'm ready to watch it. Everybody wish me luck. I'm going to be brave.
Yeah. Sometimes dead is better.
Confidently controversial.
All right, guys, we're really excited because we have to tell you about
Blue Wire Media.
Woo!
Blue Wire is an award-winning, full-service marketing agency and production company that helps businesses succeed. How did they do that, Kim?
How?
They do that with videos, photos, websites, social media production stuff. They do consulting, design. These guys are full service for all of your marketing needs.
Yes, and I can tell you personally, firsthand, that I have worked with Mr. Steven Aceto, who is the owner, operator, business creator, extraordinaire.
All of those things.
Of Blue Wire Media. And he's just one of my favorite people to work with because he's a really creative person. And he's always taken every project that we've worked on to the next level. So go check out Blue Wire Media at bluewiremedia.com/cc and learn more about all the great things that Blue Wire can do for you. Do it.
Confidently controversial.
We're back.
I hate you.
You love me.
I hate that movie.
Oh, why? What was wrong with it?
It's okay. I don't even know where to begin, Kim. It was scary, first of all. And I cannot believe that you subjected a poor group of girls to this. And I just think that if I were one of those friends of yours, I mean, thank goodness we weren't friends back then.
Right.
But if I were one of those friends and I went to your house for a birthday party and you're like, we're going to watch a movie, it's going to be this thing. I know that I would have had such fear because I wouldn't want to seem not cool by being like, no, I'm really scared. I don't want to watch this movie. But I would have been really scared and not wanted to watch this movie. So I would have been like, okay, how can I make it so that it looks like I'm watching this movie, but I'm not really watching this movie because there's a lot that would have. I mean, it's a scary movie.
It is a scary movie, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And I was like, it's the holidays. Come on over.
I mean, okay, let's go back to this party. In your recollection of this birthday party, what happened?
I don't remember very much about it. I just remember, we were talking about doing Halloween movies, and I was like, we should do one that we...
You were talking about Halloween movies because it's almost Christmas. Okay.
No. I mean, for this movie.
Oh, okay.
And I remembered that that I had chosen this to watch at my birthday party. And I also remember that, I just remember, vaguely pieces of it. At the time, I don't remember it being a big deal. Obviously, people were freaked out and scared by it. Probably me included. But
yeah, as a kid watching this, were you walking away from this? Okay, it's day after.
There are parts of this movie that, obviously we joked about the one character, all the quotes from the one character, but there are definitely parts in this movie that I told you, when the little kid cuts the Achilles on the old man, I think about that a lot. A lot. So, yeah. Anytime you're putting your shoes on by the bed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotta move my feet. I feel so my ankles feel so exposed right now.
Right.
So it's day after. You're a kid. Are you thinking about this movie all the time? When was the next time you watched it? So you watched it as a kid and then
then I watched it. I mean, I've watched it a couple of times since then. I don't think I've watched it all the way through. Probably since then. I mean, maybe once all the way through since then. Because it's a lot of movie.
It's a lot of movie. I mean, it's not super long. It's the perfect length. Yeah. It's about an hour, a little over an hour and 90 minutes.
But also the sick sister, Zelda.
Yes.
Also lives rent-free in my brain.
My husband, right after we were going to go watch this movie in the other room, I texted my husband and I just said, we're going to watch Pet Sematary. And he just wrote back, the sick sister scenes are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I've seen that face before. Well, because
I feel like I thought you had seen this movie before, and I know very recently I was looking on Cameo, and you can get a cameo by the person that played the sister,
and it was a man.
It was a man.
I mean, it was very clear, and I was reading in the things they were saying they tried to have a little girl play that role, but the little girls all seem too sweet.
Yeah.
And but they make this person more like a monster. But even that story. I've never read the book. Have you ever read the book?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did you go through a Stephen King book phase?
Maybe that was what it was. Is perhaps at the time, because I did read some Stephen King books, and I was very into Dean Koontz books. Remember those?
Dean
Koontz. And so it was probably book related. Because I feel like I did read some Stephen King books when I was younger.
Yeah, I feel like middle school was the time when, and even early high school, I feel like I was reading Stephen King books. I know I read Carrie. Yeah. I read, I didn't read this one, but I read some other ones. I read Misery. I read.
But so it was
The Shining.
Compelling.
They were compelling.
It was definitely something you were I feel like at that age I was a little braver. So you were
Thinner. Remember the movie with the book Thinner?
Yeah,
I read that one too.
Yeah.
But I also remember this. Stephen King was so big time when we were younger. It was just everywhere. You heard it. Even my daughter now knows Stephen King. It's scary. I mean, because it was the new thing.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. He just wrote all the scary things when we were young. And I feel like those were the movies people talked about a lot. I remember this movie being a thing. But I remember having no desire to see it whatsoever, knowing it was way too scary.
Yeah, you should tell people what it's about.
Okay. So let me talk about this movie for those who don't know. So
it's those who are fortunate.
Those who are fortunate not to have this in their lives. So you have a very good-looking young couple. The husband's a doctor. They move. They have two young kids. One who's toddler. One who's elementary school age.
6 or 7.
Yeah. So they are just, in the beginning of this movie, they're just moving to Maine. And they move into this old house, and it's very lovely and pastoral. There's a weird path going into the woods, but, we'll get to that later. And then across the street, you have a nice old man who lives there, and that's Herman Munster. So everything's great. They're all happy. But then, while they're there, there's a road that goes past their house where trucks just drive really fast down this little country road, which someone needs to get in touch with the local mayor,
But I
the
can see that
committee.
happening. I mean, I grew up on Route 47.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very busy road. Easily, someone could have been hit by a car, truck, anything like that, because people go zooming past there. There were tons of accidents at the corner by my house.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So something bad's going to happen with that from the beginning. But early on the doctor goes to work the first day. He's going to be the doctor in town.
At the university.
At the university. First day on the job, some kid is hit by a car. He's like a college student, hit by a car and is dead. But he's laying dead on his table, you think. He's got a massive head wound.
What'd you call him?
Massive head wound Larry. Which is from SNL, famous sketch by Dana Carvey. He's like, but he comes back to life to warn this guy. I forget what happens there. There's some weird dynamic with him and the wife. And then the wife goes away to Chicago. I don't know.
Yeah,
the wife goes away.
Parents.
While she's gone, the cat dies. The daughter loves the cat. Yeah. So for some reason, the old neighbor man, Herman Munster, is like, he likes the family right away. And they like him. He's a nice guy. Nice man. So he doesn't like the idea. He knows that the daughter loves this cat. He doesn't like the idea of the daughter having to go through the pain of this cat. So he takes him to a pet cemetery that's down that path. Which the dead guy was trying to. There's too much goes on in this. I can't even explain it. Right. So essentially, there's a pet cemetery that brings people back to life. They bury a cat there. The cat comes back to life, but it's not nice. It's not a nice cat. They don't bury it
in the pet cemetery. They bury it beyond the pet cemetery,
which is a pet cemetery, but an Indian burial ground.
Yeah, but I think for just Indian burial ground. I don't think it's for pets specifically.
Right. Did you feel like we talked a lot about Indian burial grounds when we were younger? I mean, Native American burial grounds, but we called them Indian burial grounds because, we were unevolved people from the 80s.
As a person.
Right. But I feel like that was a big topic of conversation amongst when I was a kid.
Yeah, I guess. It was always like a thing where it was just like, remember for a long time, if something was haunted, it was like, oh, that's because it was buried on an Indian burial ground.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Obviously. So, this movie, essentially, there's an Indian burial ground that brings people back to life if you bury them there. But, they don't come back to life in a good way. They basically come back to life as monsters. But people keep doing it for some reason. They keep burying people there. So first you bury the cat comes back, cat's mean and weird. Then the little boy, the cute little kid.
Who's probably 2.
Yeah, he's a little baby, gets hit by a truck, which I was very mad you made me watch a movie where a little boy gets killed by a truck.
As I said to you while we were watching
You can't talk to me. Do not talk. Kills the boy. So, of course, the dad is like, well, now I know about this Indian burial ground, and I'm really sad, so let me go and bury my kid there. And, of course, it doesn't go well. And the kid comes back, and he's evil, and he kills a bunch of people.
He's immediately evil.
But I don't know why the dad would think anything different. But in the midst of all of this, then you have the mom having flashbacks about her sister who had meningitis. Spinal meningitis, which is an illness, correct? Yes. And it's like, it doesn't do anything to your spine. It's in your spine.
You're the doctor.
Spinal meningitis is you get back an infection in your spinal fluid. You die.
Right.
You're not living for a long time.
I don't know.
I don't think you do. I think he just wanted something with a spine.
Okay, so they could make that effective.
Maybe. Well, it was a book, but the idea of it was that her parents were so awful that they took their child who was dying of spinal meningitis and they were couldn't be bothered with it.
Right.
Because she was way ugly to look at. So I kind of get it. It's like, let's put that ugly daughter back there.
She had red hair, so.
She was a man.
Yeah.
She was a grown man, so I get it. So they put her in a room to die, but they left the daughter, who's now the wife, to take care of her while she was dying. And there's a lot of...
she'd feed her green stuff and stuff.
Yeah, and she's all she had all this weird makeup and these weird... She didn't have lips. And she's
and when she opens her mouth and it's gummed together... ooh, it's so bad. But at the same time, you're like, that it couldn't be any other way.
The spine, and like you see, like she's laying on the bed.
Yeah, she's all crooked.
She's all crooked because that's what spinal meningitis is.
Well, you don't know.
Isn't that scoliosis when they check your back to make sure it's straight?
Scoliosis,
so
that doesn't cause you to have to lay in bed and eat pea soup.
No, but wouldn't that be funny if like you go you go to school and they check your spine to make sure it's straight and they're like, nope, you got the scoliosis, and then cut to you're just like laying in a bed in a weird dress.
This conversation is not good. I never understood. Do they still do scoliosis tests at school?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah. I think my mom might have scoliosis.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that have had to have it, like major surgeries and things like that. So it's not really something to laugh at, Emily.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry.
Nervous.
I'm trying to make light.
You're nervous.
I'm nervous. You made me watch this awful movie that was really scary. And besides the Achilles heel thing, there's some like pretty gruesome things. Because at the very end of it, because even after the son, he's got to re-kill his son after he comes back to life.
Well, when the little kid comes back too, he finds the dad's scalpel because the dad's a doctor. Mm-hmm. And that's how he cuts the Achilles. But he also cuts like the guy's mouth from like. He like jokers his mouth.
He jokers his mouth, and then he eats him. But they also in another flash.
I don't think he eats him.
Well, in that other flashback, when they brought back from the dead that guy from World War II or World War I, whatever World War it was. Mm-hmm. That guy, when he came back, they cut to him and he's got like a kid leg that he's biting. Oh, yeah, so maybe you come back as a zombie.
Yeah.
So they're just zombies.
That's all.
But then the wife comes back and he smooches her and she's got like eye juice oozing out of her eye.
She does. She's very oozy.
She's very oozy and gross.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. No. Okay. So, and then there's like a maid that has cancer and kills herself, which I'm like, why did we even have this part?
I don't know why she was in it. It must have been in the book and maybe they like cut some scenes or something like that. Or is it just that that land is sour?
That land. So I thought when they're saying the ground's gone sour, that means just the land that's beyond the pet cemetery.
Right, but I mean, you know how those things happen. It leaches into the water system and then everything's sour.
Yeah, and then they keep talking about like a man's heart is made of stone.
Soil.
Yeah, the soil of a man's heart is
stonier.
Which I don't know.
I don't understand that.
I don't know it. Like he can't deal with it. I don't know.
It's like wise old guy stuff that you're supposed to be like, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing in this, and with a lot of movies at this time, messing with children of our age, is there's the difference between this movie and other horror movies is there's children in it.
Yeah.
And it's realistic.
Yeah.
And that, you're watching it as a kid, you're not much older than the little girl that's in this movie. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, these could be my parents. This could be my...
Yeah, my dad could make this choice.
Your dad would not have done this. No. Your dad's a little bit more practical.
Yeah.
He's not doing that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think my dad would do it either.
No, probably not.
No. My dad would be like, Dead's better.
Right.
Because sometimes Dead is better.
Yeah. It's a good lesson.
It's a good lesson.
It's the lesson of this movie.
Like, it's like you might be sad.
Right.
But what's the opposite
of this?
What's
the alternative?
Yeah. Dead's
and
better.
like the same when, so like the sister, Zelda, when she's real sick.
Spinal meningitis.
From spinal meningitis. Remember, Rachel is like, well, when she died, like we were all relieved and happy. Because sometimes dead is better.
Right.
Because that girl's not in pain anymore. And then also the family is not in pain. Is that
Was the family in pain though?
Well, I don't know. Her parents were real assholes. Like they got into the dad got into a fist fight with this son-in-law at the little boy's funeral.
I feel like I want to read the book because there's stuff that's missing, especially with the sister. Because it's unclear to me. I thought from watching it that the parents took the sister, and it's hard to see that sister as an actual little girl because it's a man and it doesn't look like anything else than a man.
It's funny because seeing it now, it was way scarier when I was younger.
Like it's still scary.
It's scary, but I definitely pictured it more like gnarled.
I mean, her back is real weird
real
looking,
scary.
and the face is, and like the way that they put like jaw, like...
Well, you could see her bones real well. Like, she was definitely, like, undernourished.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like a skinny man.
And then she, like, she choked to death?
Is that what she did?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It was terrifying. But yeah, as a kid watching this movie, or even knowing about the existence of this movie, it's again, if you're watching something that has a kid in it, which I'm trying to think now, what are movies now that are... I don't watch a lot of horror movies, as you can tell. But are there movies now that have kids in them as the central pieces to...
Well, I mean, there's like a lot of horror movies are solely about teenagers.
But a teenager's different than this is little kids that are affected. I mean, I think
kids.
Also kids. And I just think it's more terrifying when it's a little kid. And that's why kids shouldn't watch this movie.
Well, they shouldn't. And, you know, I apologize to everyone that came.
It's not your fault.
That had to watch it.
It's your parents' fault. Your dad and mom maybe wouldn't bury anybody in a bad pet cemetery, but they definitely let you rent that movie and watch it with everyone. And that was always, it's funny, I'm just remembering now, at sleepover parties, that was definitely always an issue, because you would always rent movies for a sleepover. That was part of it. And I remember going to other people's houses and having anxiety of having to watch a scary movie and having to having to try and be cool while it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I fully remember being at one of my friends' houses, and maybe I'll try to find this movie. I don't know if I could, but being at one of my friends' houses around the same age, and remember there was that show Up All Night.
Yes.
And it was like Rhonda. Somebody's up all night. It was like a sexy lady.
Right. Was that Elvira?
No, it wasn't Elvira. It was another lady.
But then it was Gilbert Godfrey was on Up All. Wasn't he up all night too?
I don't know. Anyway, there was a sexy lady, but the movie we watched was about like a women's prison.
I saw that movie.
You did?
Yes, because every sleepover you would always watch that, and they were like softcore porny.
Yes, very porny. And I remember being at a friend's house and being like, I was always the kid that was like, we're going to get in trouble. Like, I do not want to do this. You're going to get me in trouble. And I remember, but also at the same time being like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I'm watching this.
Yeah, like, I'm not supposed to watch this.
Right, I'm not supposed to watch this. I'm a little interested because I have no concept of anything that's happening in it.
I don't know what sex is. I don't know what's happening in this thing.
I'm very afraid of all of it.
Right.
However, I have to pretend like I'm a cool girl. Yeah. And can handle this shit.
So stressful.
Yeah, it is stressful.
To have to be cool like that, and then like later to just not
sleepover parties were.
And you couldn't tell your parents that you were freaked out.
You couldn't tell them and you couldn't tell them that you even watched it.
No, because you would get in trouble.
Right. And
so it's like, I'm terrified and afraid.
I remember it always being a thing, too, like, about sleepover parties. Like, yeah, you were excited about them, but I remember once you were actually, the reality of the sleepover party, for me, was always, like, there was always some shit about the person that fell asleep first.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a sleepy girl. One time, they froze my underwear in the freezer.
Oh, you want to know what happened to me one time?
Yeah.
One time, I fell asleep and they took nail polish and they drew on my face with nail polish. And I just remember waking up and the girl's mom being so mad. First, they all got in trouble, like way in trouble. And the mom was just like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
And she was taking nail polish removal and she was just like, close your eyes as tight as you can, like to not get nail polish in my face. And I mean, I was probably like, I was little. This was before middle school because I don't think I was friends with this person in middle school. So this was probably like, I was probably like an 8-year-old.
Oh my God.
And
that's
like,
mean.
So mean. And and I just remember that they had to like take it off.
You.
It did. And I remember her having to tell,
baby.
I remember her nail polish burn baby.
Aww.
She had to call my mom.
Oh my God, I bet she did.
Yeah, and I remember her telling my mom and then my mom picking me up and I remember in the mirror, because you know when you take like nail polish off, it was still like, my face was still like red.
Oh God, yeah. It's not meant for your face.
No. Yeah, I remember that happening. I also remember at sleepover parties, they would do a thing where they would make a plate with like all the gross shit and you had to like touch it or smell it. And I remember people throwing up at sleepover parties.
See, like I was saying, they froze my underwear and made an ice cream sundae out of it, and then they were like, "Oh, do you want to eat this for breakfast?"
Ew.
Yeah, I know, it's fucked up.
Yeah, girls are mean.
I know, bitches.
Jesus.
I know, it's upsetting now that I think about it. I'm like, oh, That was full on bullying.
It was full on bullying.
And I was always like, I'm always going to fall asleep early and wake up early, and then you're just awake. And I remember it was always painful because, like, I remember sleeping over people's houses and they would sleep until like 11 or 12 o'clock. And I'm up at like 6:30, like.
And you don't want to get to go to the bathroom. What if someone sees you?
Or eat or do anything. So you're just like laying there, just like, please wake up.
What if you have to see their parents?
Right.
Especially
that
their
would be
dad.
terrible. Oh, I know. The dad that forgets there's a slumber party. Christ.
Sleepovers, when I think of it now, were the worst, but you wanted but also at the same time
you wanted to have them
every weekend. You wanted there to be a slumber party. Mm-hmm. Every weekend you wanted something because they were also fun, telling stories. Ouija boards were fun.
Yeah, light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Fun. Doing makeup, doing hair. Mm-hmm. We also went through a phase where my parents had a video recorder, so we would make little movies and stuff.
See, but I always felt like the one-on-one sleepovers were always better. Like if it was just you and one friend.
Yeah, you bonded.
Well, and also there wasn't that like gang up mentality.
Oh yeah, things got ugly at sleepover parties. Yeah. Remember, you like roll out your sleeping bags on the floor, and who was going to lay next to who? Yeah, there was like a drama dynamic. There was also scary movies happening. There was gross food. There was stealing of underwear. Why did we want to do this?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it anymore.
Keep the feral girls apart from one another.
Yeah, and there's always one that's like overly like a little too nuts, a little too crazy.
Takes it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, bad news, guys. Yeah, so now we've gone down not only watching a horrible movie, but also...
we relived some shit from our youth that was not good.
No, I think that... I also think that with this movie and with watching horror movies when you're younger in general, you're seeing adults. Like in this, you have, again... two adults who looked like, I commented when we were watching it that the wife in this was wearing an outfit that I was like, oh my God, my mom wore those exact shorts. Sure. Like that exact look. Mm-hmm. So you're watching people who look like your parents, even though not watching it now, that dad was a hot dad.
He was a hot dad.
He was a good looking guy. But as kids, we don't think he's hot.
I didn't care for the wife's look.
I didn't care for the wife's look either.
It made her unlikable, and I know that's not nice to say, but I didn't. I wasn't endeared to her at all.
No. Well, that was the look at the time, and
it was very harsh.
It was very harsh. Well, we'll get back to her look in a second. Because what the point I wanted to make was, you're watching these adults who are making bad decisions and who are acting really creepy and crazy and weird,
right?
And they're in the context of being a mom and dad in this movie, and it's a little too much for a kid to watch.
You have to realize that your parents could do dumb things too.
Yeah, you don't need to know that when you're
where
a
are you
kid.
going with my little brother? Don't bury him in the backyard.
Right, like sometimes dad's better, dad.
Right.
Yeah, but the mom, you're saying with the mom, so the mom had short hair.
Yeah.
Which was very much a look at that time.
Yes.
You had some very famous people at that time who had that short women's haircut, like a pixie cut, they would call it. I had that haircut.
At that age?
I had short hair. My mom cut off all of my hair when, I feel like it was a progression that started in kindergarten. I had, longish hair, not super long, but longish hair. Mm-hmm. And then, now my mom will say it's because it was all my fault.
Sure, of course.
Because I wouldn't let her brush my hair. But then she cut it into, so by first grade I had like a little Dorothy Hamill, little like chin length cut. Right. So still girlish, but like shorter, manageable. But then in second grade we just cut it all off and it was boy haircut. Me and my sister both had really short hair.
Did you go to the hairdresser, or did your parents just cut it off themselves?
I think my dad may have cut my sister's hair, but I believe we went to a place and got our hair cut. But they were definitely boy haircuts that we had. My sister has trauma of going to school on picture day, and I know this picture. She's got like a little button-down shirt on, and the guy taking the picture was just like, "Hey, Sonny." And my sister is like a little girl,
right,
traumatizing
for sure.
And even though it might have been the cool haircut at the time,
somebody wasn't styling it for you.
No, I mean, I look at pictures of me now, and I'm like, okay, but then at the same time, I feel like I always had short hair. Like, then it would grow out, but then get it cut. I also think when I was young, I got head lice in second grade. So I think having it short was also helpful because of that. And my mom would make the front part, she would try and make the front part look like little wings. So it was a little bit girlish, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
All the other little girls had long hair in my class.
I had short hair, I think, in... Like, if there's one school picture, it's either kindergarten or first grade. I think it might be kindergarten. And I had short hair, and you could tell that it was not working. And there's, like, those wisps by my face, like the wisps that, like, stick out to the side. And kind of like a helmet look kind of thing. And I was a very tall child. So it just was, like, overall not a good look. It was very lumberjack. It wasn't great.
I mean, again, I look at pictures of myself when I was a kid, and I was cute. Like, it's cute. But at the same time, I think as a little kid with short hair like that, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like, because it's an adult haircut.
Yeah, very much
and it
so.
was an adult look, and I did not need to have an adult look. I needed to have long, cute girl hair.
Right. Sure.
Right.
Well, Emily, you needed to take better care of your hair, and maybe you could have had some long hair, huh?
Okay. Mom, listen. Not cool, okay? Not cool.
All right. So overall, like, what do you say? Did you feel like this was a good movie?
I mean, as far as horror movies are concerned, I can't say horror. Why do we say it so? Horror. As far as horror movies are concerned, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a good story to it. It's definitely creepy. It moves. Like, there's a lot that happens in it, and it certainly creates like a world around it.
You were definitely on edge.
I was definitely on edge. I was very mad at you throughout, as you know. I kept intermittently just looking at Kim and pointing my finger at her as if to accuse her, like, how dare you?
And I was just like, I didn't make this movie. We're just watching it.
You made me watch it.
I followed the assignment.
You did. You followed the assignment. We're doing spooky movie October, and the fact that we're going to be doing this for the next 3 episodes really makes me a little bit nervous about the whole thing. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great horror movie, and it's something that if you are into horror and you haven't seen this movie, you should. I mean, it's a little bit dated if you compare it to recently we watched. What's the ones now where it's like the couple that investigates the paranormal stuff at the houses?
The Conjuring or
The Conjuring.
Yeah.
So we watched that recently because my daughter is really into these kind of movies. So my husband and I watched that with my daughter. And the special effects now and things are just unreal and so scary.
Well, this one they did make, like I said, they made a sequel with Edward Furlong in it, remember, from Terminator? So they made a sequel to this. They also redid this movie in 1989. There was another version of, or not 1989, in the 2000 something, they remade this movie too, but people said it was not very good.
Okay,
and
who was in that?
I don't know.
I saw that John Lithgow was in a version. Was that in that version?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have this new version coming out that has David Duchovny in it.
Who is David Duchovny?
I don't know. I don't think it's it's like
reimagined.
Pet Sematary Awakening, or I don't know. It's like it has a subtitle,
so it's like inspired
Perhaps,
by maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, it's a great premise. It's a great premise. It's
sure.
It's
well, I think it's
scary
true that
movie.
it has that element of, things we don't understand, mystical, Native American burial ground, these things that we don't fully have an understanding of.
How could we ever understand Native Americans?
Well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And at the time, it seems like, again, this thing that there's bigger things going on in this world than we are aware of.
Right. Sometimes in your backyard.
Ugh. Yeah. But yeah, good horror movie for sure.
It's good.
There's a reason it's a classic.
Do you think that you're going to, your daughter loves horror movies. Do you think you would let her watch it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
for
can
sure.
handle it.
Oh yeah, she would love it. It's definitely the level of horror movie that I feel like, because it's not, especially as a kid now watching it, it doesn't look very real. But I think that's the thing. When we were younger, this looked very real.
Yeah.
These was the height of special effects.
And they don't do there's not outrageous stuff in it necessarily where you're like, oh, that's so fake looking. Like, it's pretty practical.
They're all practical effects, and I think that even making the eyes of the cat glow, I read that was a practical effect. They put a light on top of the camera, and that's what made because the cats have that thing in their eyes.
Well, it should be your first sign that something's wrong with the cat.
There were so many first signs with that cat. It came back from the fucking dead. It smelled all the time.
Right. Well, that was the thing that they said people that came back from there all smelled real bad. It's just like, first and foremost, that's the last thing you want in a spouse or child.
Right.
Smelliness.
It's not, you can never get clean.
Right.
And also
they might kill you.
And also they're zombies and they're eating humans.
Right.
So,
but mostly smell.
But the cat was still nice to the daughter. The cat that came back to life.
Yeah. Well,
No, some of it didn't make sense. But, yeah, good movie. Definitely watch it. I think I will tell my husband when I get home, like, yeah, Percy can watch this movie.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Are you ready to do the Spader of it all?
Yes, I'm very interested because there's not, except for Fred Gwynn, there's not a lot of people that are super famous in this.
Yeah, and there's not. This was hard, and especially because I forgot about it, and I did it last night after I had some wine. So I hope it tracks.
Okay.
I reread it this morning just to be like, did that make sense? Kimberly Ann, did that make sense?
Okay.
So Brad Greenquist, who's Pascal in this movie.
Yeah, what else was that guy in?
Well, he was in a movie called The Yearling.
The Yearling.
Yearling.
Okay.
Yearling.
That's a horse, right?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't asked to find out what the movies were about. I was just trying to connect James Spader.
If it's a true
Isn't
Spader.
it about a tree?
A yearling?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is a yearling?
I don't know.
I don't know, but go ahead.
Anyway, so Brad Greenquist, Pascal in Pet Sematary, was in a movie called The Yearling or The Yearling or something like that, perhaps about a horse or a tree, with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Okay.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman was in the movie Twister.
Yes, he was.
With Helen Hunt.
Okay.
Helen Hunt was in the movie Bob Roberts
Yes.
with James Spader.
Oh, there you go. Good job, Kim.
Yeah, so we did it.
We did it. We always do. We always get to Spader.
We do, somehow, some way.
Some way.
For a while, I was just like, can I just say that I couldn't do it?
It's like, no, you have to make it happen.
I know it's possible, so I had to find it.
Well, because he was in so many great movies. Well, that was great. I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm a little bit apprehensive that we have 3 more episodes of this, but at least...
Well, you get to pick 2 of them, so you can rein it in if you wish.
I can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm going to really think about...
I know what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to fuck me over.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
I think you're better with scary movies than I am, so I don't know that I could.
Okay.
I don't know that I could.
All right.
But
we'll find out, I guess.
But yeah, so everybody, thank you again for listening to this episode. Go back. If this was too scary for you, go back and listen to maybe some non-scary.
You can handle it. It's just us talking about it.
Then you think about it, and then you got to think about...
Just watch where you put your feet. I'm telling you. You got to watch your Achilles at all times.
Well, yeah, that's very important. But yeah, so go back, listen to some episodes, follow us on TikTok at Confidently Contro, follow us on Instagram at Confidently Controversial.
Yes, you can visit our website at confidentlycontroversial.com.
We have a website. Woo, woo. Yeah, I'm very excited about the website, so definitely check it out. We're on YouTube. We're just all over the place. Like,
everywhere
you can't
you
escape
want to be.
us. We're like James Spader. We're everywhere.
That's right, whether you like it or not.
That's right. So we really appreciate you guys listening. So thank you very much. And Kim, you know what you should always remember?
You should always remember to be confident in a way that you think that it's going to be okay to bury people in a Native American burial ground.
But don't be controversial and actually do it.
Right.
That's the thing. All right, guys. Remember that. Bye.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.
Happy Halloween.